for activities over the past few years, I believe. But we have Caesar. What's up, bro? Welcome to the show.
Hello everyone. Dear
Hello.
community. Yeah, our proposal is number 1276, and yes, the tip for the activities made by Polka Mexican community. And basically, our proposal is a tip for the activities carried out by the collective from August of this year until October. We know that there was a misunderstanding due to the way of 22-page document. I know it was a lot. However, we want to emphasize that the tip is only for the activities during this period. And some members of the collective participate in several events, like Eric, Armando is here, and Rodrigo as well. So yeah, the tip is only for the activities of this year. We did a large document because we want to do an introduction about the things that we have done and the contribution that the collectives have been made in the last years. So yeah, that's basically our proposal for the activities of this year.
Hey, what are you going to do? Like this 12,000 USDT that you're asking for, what are you going to use it for? Like, how's this going to propel your community into the next phase?
Yeah, we already are in contact with the organizers of Talentland. Talentland is one of the largest technological events in Latin America. So we want to have a presence there because, for example, in this year, there were over 40,000 people attending the event. So we know that it's a huge event, and some members of the collective have participated in conferences in this year, in the last year as well. So in the next one in 2025 is in March, I think. So we want to have presence in the event with a booth, with conference in the main stage. So the money is gonna be used to help with the travel, the expensive stuff, So yeah, that's basically the idea. And we have more future activities in the medium short term. Even in next week we have an event in Mexico City. So yeah, this the money is gonna be used for pay some expenses for the team.
I got to be honest. You guys have been really active. You guys have been doing a lot of work here. This is impressive at a glance. Let's hear from Andrea.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring my support to the Mexican collective and to Cesar. I really believe that our Polkadot will thrive. We need to be represented all over the world by collective like that. That's why initially we started the Caldo. That's why I joined the ambassador program, and that's why we redesigned it. That's why I created the Nexus. So yeah, full support to Cesar. 12K for 6 team members for 3 months is like a very cheap precedent, I believe, to have this kind of community. So full support to them, and also ideally the fragment system and all this funding solution should be an answer to this kind of community. But we'll talk about that later, I'm assuming.
Yeah, thank you. Even if you have more, for example, for more questions, you can join to Polka Mexican Telegram group. We are very active over there. All the collective members are there. So yeah, thank you for the support, guys.
Looking at the votes right now, we have, as far as DVs go, we have Saxonburg, Kustot Delegate, Lucky Friday, and who's 13.6 GP? Who's 13 GP? Is that you, Andrea?
So I guess it's us.
Yeah, okay.
It's Lenexus.
It's just not showing up.
So we are using a pure proxy, and so setting up the identity on the pure proxy is not possible yet.
Oh.
Apparently, we managed to reciprocate a pure proxy address from a setup to from Polkadot to a setup. So soon we will have an issue for that, a solution.
Cool.
But until now, people can verify the identity on the multi-sig, controlling the pure proxy if they want to.
All good. We'll keep that in mind going forward. 16GP is Linexus. On the NA side for DVs, it's just Chaos DAO, and yeah, I guess we'll see what that's all about. But okay, we're about a week into it. We'll see how it goes. Anybody else have any questions for Caesar while he's here? No. Caesar, thanks for all your contributions to the ecosystem. It's super awesome.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. What's next? Oh, a resubmission of Fuelarts at BitBasel. This is a bit of a big boy here, 300,000 USDT. And I think this was submitted on the wrong track through Poke Assembly or something. I don't think it was any fault of the submitters, if I understand correctly. But here it is, now on the right track, just freshly submitted this morning. And Dennis, it's you, right?
Right.
Great. Dennis,
Hi.
yeah, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us again. Hi, Jay. Hi, Ryan. And hi, Tommy, for the second time in a row today. So we started early this morning with resubmitting. Thank you for your trust and support. Yeah, actually, we submitted the first informational post 3 weeks ago and started gathering opinions and questions from the community that hopefully made our presentation more focused on the real Polkadot needs. So we resubmitted due to the technical error this morning. But today I'd like to shorten my presentation to nearly 3 slides. So you will see the shortest deck ever, because it will reply to the 2 main questions. We have summarized all the questions from the community, and what's more important, we have received a lot of trust and support from existing startups of the Polkadot ecosystem that shows that they are really interested in what we are doing, and they are waiting for the newcomers, the new startups to enter the ecosystem. Just a quick recap. So yeah, can I share my
you should be open
now?
Yeah.
Good. Great. So who we are and what we're proposing. We are Fuelarts, dedicated creative tech accelerator focused on creative tech. We have an accelerator, we have an investment arm. We are publishing analytic reports on the cumulative investments in Web3 economy and creative tech startups. Our partners in crime here are BitBasel, the synonym of Web3 adoption in South Florida. When you say BitBasel, you mean Web3 in Miami and vice versa. BitBasel are closely working with the University of Florida. They have established the blockchain lab there. So together we propose an 18-week online accelerator for creative tech startups for Polkadot. You could see our page online. You could see our video pitch online and find all the documents, our deck, and transparent breakdown. Though this current deck, as I promised, I will focus my speech on the 2 questions that bother the most of you. So first of all, what is creative tech and how it relates to Polkadot? So we understand creative tech as the digital infrastructure behind the 2.6 billion creative industry with more than 50 million jobs worldwide, and of course 8 of 10, almost everyone is engaged with creative products and services. So these are the potential end users, and we see that creative tech niche and untapped potential for bringing end users to Polkadot blockchain. Exactly. We all know the top enablers of creative tech, both in artistic sphere, in cinema, in music, in gaming industry, or fashion. So the big idea, as I said, is to bring the end users from Web 2 to Web 3 to Polkadot through our accelerator. How shall we do it? The second question was, hey guys, you had a very like complicated deck and a lot of numbers, a lot of words. Could you please simplify it to 5 simple milestones? Here it is, 5 milestones. First one, we make an application call. We make an application call to be sure that we are onboarding the most interesting business models. We know the startups know us, so we expect more than 200 applications for that batch. Then we enroll everyone. That's our know-how to the first pre-acceleration stage that reduces the possible negative. Oh, we are not enrolled, so blaming both the organizers and the blockchain. No, we enroll everyone and give them the initial knowledge about the benefits of Polkadot, making them the early adopters or adherents of the Polkadot values. During the pre-acceleration, we complete our due diligence, financial due diligence, tech due diligence, and investment attractiveness due diligence. Then we pick up 10 startups from them to the second round, to the general acceleration. Those 10 startups whom we think to have the best potential, the highest potential to be those links between the Web 2 brands and Web3 Polkadot products and blockchain. So, and then we're not leaving them alone. The acceleration culminates in a demo day where we bring top and other Web3 investors who can invest into those startups, as well as Fuelarts and other and Polkadot DAOs. So the 4 main outcomes from that. First, we bring 10 new startups for the ecosystem, with much more on the way, because they receive the products, the tools, and they receive the informational engagement into this process through our marketing campaign. Then we expect at least 3 big brands through this acceleration to be linked with their end users to the Polkadot existing startups, because we select those startups who already have end users and communities. That naturally should bring Polkadot the status of the leading blockchain for creative tech. And the 4th outcome, and I'm happy to I'm grateful to the several communities who we're talking to for underlining this. So we're going to return back the investment trust towards startups in Web3 in whole, and in particular on Polkadot. Because nowadays startups are financed mostly, Polkadot startups are financed from the treasury. Let's split that. Dependency. Let the investors invest in those startups, and let the other part will be financed by the treasury. So let's start with creating creative tech and show investors that Polkadot startups are valuable, and that would definitely scale to the other Polkadot products, as we believe. Yeah, I'm done, and 7 minutes. My God, sorry for that.
No, we really should get to some questions here. Tommy has one.
Okay, I hope the sound works. So it looks like an interesting proposal. I have seen on your website that in last year you worked with Tezos. So
Yes.
I would be interested to learn, like, what were the outcomes of this? Can you show any successes that came out of that collaboration?
Yes, we educated 10 more startups for Tezos ecosystem, with 1 startup exited, acquired by Microsoft. And we also learned all the mistakes with, mistakes that could be made collaborating with big blockchain brands. So we'll be happy to improve that and to deliver to you.
It's actually a big project. Looking at the budget here, it's not happening until next October, right? So it's almost like a 10-month engagement, right?
10 months, right?
Yeah, really something. What was the final reasoning why you didn't go through the marketing or the events bounty? Oh, we're at time. But you can answer that real quick, yeah.
Yes, we were not aware of that option.
Even now?
No. I mean, we don't need, of course, we don't need all the money in whole, in total. So we have payments structured around milestone achievements, as we write in our deck, but we just didn't know how to implement that into our application.
And Jay, I'll jump in. The events boundary, we were told to go to the events boundary for the other BitBasil proposal, not this one.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, whatever
Oh.
people tell you, but yeah, okay. Gotcha. Alrighty. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on. Wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And let's see what we have now. Oh, yeah. So this is last minute. New proposal here. We have Angie, and I guess Nick probably as well wants to speak about this. This is for a huge refill of the games, the dot play bounty. So I think it's a 1 million. Yeah, it is 1 million dot refill. Angie, Nick, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thank you for having us. Andrew, you want to go first?
Oh, Angie, for some reason, maybe the wrong microphone is selected on your Google Meet there, but we're not getting any sound.
Well, I can start until
Sure.
Angie's
Yeah.
set up to make a quick intro. So we wanted to put up the discussion, which you can see. The whole idea here is that we are trying to refill this game bounty. We feel pretty good about how we've done in the first one. If you remember, our initial proposal was for 1 million dots. We did cut it in half. I think it's best that we cut it into this sort of smaller chunk, gave us this opportunity to get everything up and running. We feel pretty good about it, and we're looking to continue it further. You'll see in that discussion also a few of what I would say is our learnings or things that we're looking to improve. And I think that's quite important, that we'd like your feedback, see what you think from your side, from those learnings. And there's going to be a general continuation in the path that we're doing into general sections. There's these, I'll call them sort of revenue shares. So how can we get partners here who are actively not only bringing value, users, and attention, but yes, why not even a profit back to our treasury? And the second part, yes, continue building out the overall tooling and the pipes that we need to power all of this. Angie, you want to jump in? Or no? No, she does.
What's
But she
going
can't.
on?
I think that one of the things that, and the reason why we're coming for a refill right now, maybe sort of that's something that I can add, is that not only we are very close to exhausting from the deals that we have the first one, but we already have some really, really interesting opportunities upcoming. So there's deals in the pipeline which currently we cannot execute. And the reason we cannot execute them is very simple. We need a bit more in that bounty. Maybe to give a bit more insight on the spread of how we see things moving on forwards, I would say
Before
that.
you do that, can you guys
Oh,
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Now we
Okay,
can.
go ahead. Finish that thought.
Okay, I can. It's a very small sort of the way that we've seen. I would say the balance is about a 70-30. We see that we're really active and at our best when we're acting as publishers, when we're trying to onboard projects. And I think I would say we expect about 70% of the resources to keep going towards that direction, and 30%, which I would put under this umbrella of tooling, is where we expect sort of the rest to go. But Angie.
Yeah, just real quick, as John's saying in the chat here, the detailed proposals, it's blocked. You have to open it up for sharing. And then
Will do.
Yeah, Angie, go ahead.
Great. Yeah, so as Nick said, we really just want to keep going. We are closing several deals right now that are very, very exciting, and we're thinking of it really in kind of 3 pillars. So the studios that we're onboarding, and we need tech integration for that. The players that we're onboarding, those kind of things we're working on, really kind of gamer first, player first experiences, and then the game developers. And for those, we're building tools. And then the content is really the flywheel that gets everybody into this kind of experience exchange in Polkadot. So on the content side, we have some really exciting deals that we can't disclose right now, but think very large Hollywood studio, big IP, mass market games. So we're really excited about where we're going with this.
Awesome.
That wasn't a lot of detail. I don't know if there are any specific questions, but
Well, look, I believe in you guys wholeheartedly here, but I'm imagining a lot of people are going to want to see what you've done with the first $500,000 DOT, and it's not up front and center of this discussion document here. What have you guys done?
On the 30%. So as Nick said, we're kind of seeing 70% content, meaning games and experiences, 30% tech. We are partnering closely with Block Deep Labs, who already kind of understands the language that Web2 studios speak, because he's already worked with Mythical to onboard them to the Polkadot ecosystem, Gautam and his team. And already believes in interoperability, and already believes that we want to integrate with all parachains, Asset Hub, everything. So he kind of speaks, Block Deep Labs speaks both languages. And there are different integrations for studios, players, and developers. And so we're really, that's the 30%. Think of what we're doing is really kind of creating a neutral place so that all of these experiences can be exchanged. So instead of thinking of an NFT exchange as like a digital assets exchange, think about an experience exchange. So I have an experience in one mass market game. I win something. I might build rewards in this neutral place that I can use to convert into an NFL Rivals helmet, for example, or something in the Polkadot ecosystem. So we're really going to back people in to Web3 and Polkadot by tapping into the behavior that they're already, engaging in terms of having fun and playing games.
Jay, if I may, one thing about the question about the bounty number one. Yes, I think if we manage to do it next week, we are in Helsinki for Slush. So if I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it on AAG. If not next week, the following, we will give a full rundown of the projects that we have supported in Game Bounty 1, but within the restrictions that we have. But everybody's going to get a very, very good indication and clear view of what we've done. And that's why I think we opened it up for discussion, because we want to both be able to present everything that we've done and see the sentiment, see where sort of the community feels that we could improve. So
I'll just leave two C's, like two that we can talk about. One, Nitro Nation, we had mentioned, that's the game that Mythical is a publisher for. We're going to finish that game. And so we did a note agreement with them. So we're going to basically giving them a loan. The Polkadot community is giving them a loan to finish the game. And then we get paid back as the revenues start coming in, which will be early next year. And then, we'll return that to the treasury again. We'll do kind of like live returns. The second one that we can talk about is Visible Realms.
And maybe that adds also a technical integration with Polkadot, that Nitro Nation will be switching to the Polkadot Unity SDK. We think this is a really good big title, which can show also to other developers the use of it. And yes, there's also going to be a cool activation that we were able to do with a themed on Polkadot experience, which I think we'll share for next week.
Yep. And then the Visible Realms, I'll just tell you two things: Polkadot SDK, Unity SDK, and the Visible Realms virtual influencer crew powered by AI. The first one is called Dottie. I just posted on Twitter. I was at MIT yesterday presenting, and I used Dottie as an example of what's coming in virtual influencers. Think about KOLs, but we don't have to pay people. We're going to have virtual KOLs, and the first one is named Dottie. So that's just a hint.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, I think laying out that proof of work from their first one is going to be huge in getting this across the line. But it sounds like a lot of exciting stuff, and we're going to respect the time on this one.
Yep. Michelle, I see the question, but yes, we'll answer probably a few of them next time.
There it is. 8 minutes. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a palate cleanser, because we have a discussion for a SolidityScan, and they're going to be asking for 11,000 USDT. So nice 11,000 USDT proposal here. Is that you, Shashank?
Yes. Thank you, Jay. I can get started, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Since this is my first time, I would like to introduce myself.
Please.
My name is Shashank. I'm the CEO and co-founder of CredShields, which is a Web3 cybersecurity tooling company. A bit about my background. I've been into security for past 12 years. I started at the age of 14, actually, when I was listed in Google Security Hall of Fame page for finding a security flaw in there. And that is something I replicated with Apple, Microsoft, Twitter, Coinbase, blockchain.com, and many more. So my entire teenage life, I was doing, finding security flaws. Then, it's like, and if you talk about my Web3 journey, I started hunting on actually Polkadot as well. I've almost got like 25 bugs on Polkadot, which was paid in 2021 and 2022. And basically, I was trying to target Polkadot and Avalanche because that were super hot that time. It's like they were new and they were all the buzz. I ended up getting a job at Avalanche. I joined Avalanche during their IDO times. And within 5 months, that's where my startup came into picture, which I'm going to show. I realized, it's like people are not, it's like scaling Web3 security. And that was something already done in Web2. Like you can see tons of Web2 vulnerability scanners. But that was something nobody was doing for, like smart contracts and blockchain. And that's where, my company built SolidityScan, which is, automated smart contract security scanner. This is, all about me. And let me show you the demo. I'll present myself. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is how it's like SolidityScan looks like. A bit about it's like SolidityScan. How it works is like you upload your smart contracts through various ways, and that's where the integrate the Polkadot support which we have filed it's like the proposal for. So it's like if you have right now we support almost like 35 to 40 EVM based blockchains, and then we realized that it's like Polkadot also has EVM chains, and that's where our proposal is for. So you can perform any verified contract scan, security scan on our platform. So how it works is like, for example, this is actually it's like a real hack which happened in 2022. This is called Shadow 5, which was hacked for $310,000. If you see, it's like the burn function was public, and our tool successfully it's like catches those vulnerability. And how the tool works is like once you scan, you get a list of it's like whole number of vulnerabilities. We have built almost 300 plus vulnerability detectors. How we have done that is a very good question. We actually it's like write blogs about it. So from past 1.5 years, we have been it's like reversing all the hacks which happen in real world, and the knowledge base is used in SolidityScan to automate that if possible. And we have managed to it's like automate 300 plus vulnerabilities. We have it's like recently added a cool feature where it's like you can use AI to it's like generate a fixed code for that. So this is something the platform does. And since we are in short in time, I'll quickly complete it. It's like once you are done with scanning, you can actually generate an audit report at a click of a button. So this is how the audit report looks like, with executive summary and everything. Now, talking about what we are trying to do with Polkadot is, we realize that this security score which we show is very interesting. And plus, there is something else we have built is, giving a user an idea if how risky the contract is. Like if the contract can destroy itself, if the owner is having too many it's like token supply, and so many things which can be seen here. This is completely out there for free. It's like we give it to it's like to our all supported blockchains. So you can see if there is a burn function, if it's using old version, it's like if it's an ERC20 token, what kind of token it is, if it can be destroyed, can be paused, it's like if there are users who have it's like more than 5% of the token supply, etc. So these are all the things we have done in an automated fashion, and we started it's like building APIs to do integrations. Right now, we have done integrations with almost 40 plus EVM blockchains. For example, BlockScout has done a bilateral integration with us, and it's something what we are proposing to Polkadot as well. It's like for all the EVM chains which we have mentioned in our discussion post. How this works is like right now, if you go to BlockScout, any EVM chain, and if you it's like if you go to the verified contracts page, you can actually see a security score of us. And this is the API which we provide to show, it's like we perform a scan and then show it. This is something we also started doing with, it's like IDEs. So Remix, like the Ethereum's, Ethereum's Remix has also integrated us. So for example, if you, it's like deploy any contract, if you, it's like write any contract and try to compile it, you have an option to run SolidityScan's free scan on that, which will give you, it's like the risk score and the threat score and the vulnerability counts in that. So this is, it's like this is what our product is. Some side note which may not be relatable. We are also, trying to, make security a thing for the entire blockchain industry. So I am actually a co-lead for OWASP. If you don't know about OWASP, OWASP is for standards. Like they have built standards for web application vulnerabilities, mobile application vulnerabilities. So if you can see, it's like they publish top 10. So we published with a co-author, Jinsen. Next year, we'll do it on our own with our data sets, which we have based on hacks. And this is something, it's like we are doing with OWASP as well, where, it's like we are writing OWASP smart contract security verification standards. And this is something nobody has done yet. And this is something we are doing out of the company funds, it's like giving out for the community. So happy to, it's like take any questions if you have. I would love to answer them.
Okay, that was a lot. Great stuff. Thanks for the presentation. What do we think about this? Do you have any questions?
Come on, guys.
Who's the user of this product?
So a user of the product, any developer who is, it's like deploying, it's like Solidity-based smart contracts, they can use our product.
Nice, nice. And what benefit does the Polkadot DAO get from funding this exactly?
So, it's like with what we are trying to do is we'll do the integrations, we'll add support for chains like Bifrost. There are 4 chains which we have mentioned which supports EasyA. So Bifrost and I'm sorry, it's written in the proposal. I don't remember the name exactly.
I can cover up. So it's Bifrost, Hydration, Unique,
Moonbeam.
and Moonbeam.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to reps from these teams yet?
We are talking to Unique, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just might be good to come to the treasury with like, knowing that these chains would be really interested in using this. Although you have articulated really well the kind of the value, it'd be nice to have those relationships as well. Angie, what do you think?
I was just going to add to what you said, Jay. I am confused on how this connects to all the other security proposals that we've had. Is there any way you could put this in context of relative to the other proposals that have come to Polkadot and how much ground you would cover?
Yeah, good one. That's a good tip. And also, isn't there a security bounty as well we could connect to? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't 0x Taylor working in a security bounty?
So the security bounty I'm aware of because I received bounties from them is for finding, it's like, bugs in the Web3, it's like the Web3 Foundation and Polkadot Foundation, like platforms. But this is very specific to, it's like developers deploying, it's like Solidity-based smart contracts. So they get the idea of that. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks very much for coming on and introducing this to us. This is just discussion phase right now. So it's not an active ref or anything like that, but hopefully you got some feedback that will help make this a successful ref when you're ready to put it up.
We have posted this on the Polka Assembly discussion post.
Yes.
I will be happy to have any questions if someone is want to put there. I'm quite actively monitoring it.
Awesome. We put the link in all the chats, and yeah, people should definitely take a look and offer more feedback. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Well, just want to give a quick welcome to Chrissy Hill, who doesn't always come on the show, but whenever she does, it's a gift. Welcome, Chrissy.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I hope I can bring a little excitement to today's show. If I, you never know what I might say, Jay.
Just a little preview of what's at the top of your mind right now. Anything you want to share?
Oh, well, I think we'll be on in a little while to talk about ambassadors.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead.
And I also am doing still a lot of work on the Polkadot Community Foundation.
Oh, yeah. We're so eager to hear from them.
Yeah. So I'm still working on that in the background. I will report back to this group as soon as I have something that y'all will all be interested in hearing.
Great. Well, thanks for working on that. We are going to get to the ambassador chat, but we're just saving at the end so we can give it the focus and the time it deserves. But let's keep plowing through the spends, the proposals between now and then. We have, what is next here? Oh, Phil, how lovely to see you back on the show. You got a discussion post up for potentially a 785,000 USDT proposal. This is, what are we calling it? EasyA in-person hackathons, more in-person hackathons. Welcome, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, Jay, thanks for having me on. Great to see everybody. For everybody who hasn't seen me, I'm Phil, co-founder of EasyA, and we have been leading the Days of Polkadot campaigns, these educational initiatives within the Polkadot ecosystem for the past couple of years. So started off really with just the hackathons, and then we built that into the 60 Days of Polkadot, which you'll have seen. This year's 180 Days of Polkadot. And building on that success, we have been chatting together with different teams within the ecosystem, and we are putting together this discussion post to look at what building on that success really means. That is, of course, the 360 Days of Polkadot and the in-person hackathons. And a core part of that is, of course, updating the content within the EasyA app to what is really going on within the Polkadot ecosystem. So when we first launched these challenges, that was at the beginning of last year. A lot has changed since then. The ecosystem has evolved, and we're starting to see different narratives. For example, we have seen, of course, people in the community like Sean, who have been advocating for this potentially new narrative, which is the Polkadot Cloud and then the Polkadot Hub. So a lot of different changes at play. And this is really a discussion post because we want to open it up to the community for them and for you and everybody involved to be able to give these perspectives so that we can then build out the next 360 days of Polkadot and make sure that we're focusing on the areas that are going to be most fruitful for the ecosystem as we look to go into the end of this year and, of course, beginning of next and beyond that as well. So far, to give an idea of where we're leaning towards right now, we were just chatting with Sean yesterday, and he was suggesting that we should really go towards looking at the Polkadot Hub as a way to bring builders in. That's somewhere that we're already looking at, especially with Plaza coming up. Of course, that's the whole idea behind it. And this could be a very, very fruitful way to bring builders directly from the hackathons into the ecosystem. Of course, further down the line, it does tie into the micro grants bounty that we are, of course, revising and refining right now. But really, the whole idea behind this is let's get smart people into the ecosystem and make sure that they're able to go into the areas that they are most suited towards. So maybe I'll share my screen just to walk everybody through this very, very quickly. And of course, we'll open up to questions in a moment. But just so that everybody has the context, of course, it's live on Polk Assembly. And we have already summarized some of the feedback that we've got from the community just in here. So if you click on the summary tab, this is really what the community have said that they want updated within the EasyA app. And so we're very, very receptive to that. We have suggestions for, of course, updated content about Plaza, new and more code samples, new badges, of course, pathways into other programs, and then updating the content, focusing potentially on Substrate. I think in light of the new developments, maybe around Polkadot Hub and Polkadot Cloud and separating those, we might just focus just on Polkadot Hub. But really, that's overall what we want to hear from the community so that we know that we're focusing on the right things. And then as we come towards the end of this year, we're able to build out all of the content, focus the right hackathons, and hit the ground running when we hit 2025. So that's really in a summary. Really just want to open this up to discussion as early as possible and make sure that we rally the community around and figure out exactly what everybody wants us to focus on so that we can just go full steam ahead.
Awesome. Okay, so we're potentially funding more hackathons here, plus updating the app, which was one of the criticisms you got in your recent micro grants bounty, right? So you're responding to that and looking to upgrade the app and do a 360-day program. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to be updating the content within the app and making sure that it's really updating to the right narratives. So we have already updated a lot of that content just at a high level to make sure that things are in a good position, of course, and developers are coming in and know exactly what's going on in the ecosystem. But of course, what we decided was that actually it would be better to do a full-scale just rewrite, given that so much has changed in the ecosystem, rather than sort of just changing different pieces and different bits of terminology.
Awesome, awesome. Looks exciting. I've been to your hackathons and everybody's pretty stoked at those things, so it's pretty cool. But do we have any other questions or
Yeah.
comments from the panel here?
Well, I think we've got a question from John. Do you have an estimate of having content in non-Anglo, for example, Portuguese or Spanish? The application is great for onboarding new people worldwide. It'd be great to have this feature in the future as possible. That is a great suggestion. It is something that, so internationalization is something which we are looking at the moment. It's something that we've been hearing, in particular, Spanish is probably at the top of that list of priorities.
Yep.
We have requests to translate it into Japanese as well. I think in terms of the overall roadmap, we want to focus on getting this content in English first, but we'd love to work together with the community on updating that into Spanish. What we can do is actually, I'll note that down now, and then add that into the discussion post, so that then we can triage which languages people want that to be translated into, and also figure out what the right plan of attack is for that.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? No, it's pretty straightforward. Just building on what we've seen in the past. Great. I guess we'll see what people think when you put up for a rep. But you're going to keep it in discussion for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to give what they want us to focus on. And yeah, thanks very much, Raul, for adding that .latam team can help with the translations.
Great. So we put the links in the chat. If you do see anything you don't like about this proposal, do Polkadot a favor and let them know now before they put in a full proposal.
Yeah, we'd love that, and we'd love obviously to address that before it actually goes up on chain.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be great. Awesome. Thank you, Phil, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Do we have anybody from the Draper University project here? I don't see. No, I don't think so. So we're going to skip that today. And that means that we'll come right to, yes, the Incubator 2.0. This is another resurrection of a bounty that kind of fell through the cracks. I think it was actually closed. I'm not very sure the whole story here, but this was Bounty 19 way back. And who do we have on the show? Alejandro. Hey, bro.
Yes,
How are you?
Thank you for having me, Kyle. And your words were perfectly chosen. This is indeed resurrection of a bounty that fell a little bit through the cracks. For those who don't know who I am, I work and part of Rope.
Yeah.
And one of the crusades that we have is kind of like C Inc. Language Tribe. We think it is a pretty good language. Everybody that has used it loves it. We think it's kind of like the perfect fit for building smart contract-based solutions on Polkadot, in Polkadot Hub, on Polkadot Cloud, whatever you want to fit them. And well, in this kind of like, effort on having ink shining and seeing its adoption go up, one of the initiatives, right, like that existed before was Incubator, was like an incubation program, a little launch pad, for developers that were like building or using ink to get a little grant and kind of like be able to dedicate some resources to just building whatever they were building, right? Unfortunately, it seems that decoration for that project, well, the different individuals in the team, like each of them found themselves like not being able to dedicate enough time to the bounty. And this resulted in a referendum 1160 proposing to close this bounty, right? By that time, as Rogue, we were already like moving and working and talking to people and seeing what could be done with this. Once we saw that there was a proposal to close it, we were a little bit surprised, but we said, okay, let's see what happens. In parallel, we kind of like started working on like a revival, a new bounty that we ended up like posting on the forum just to see that this proposal, 1160, failed to execute, meaning that Bounty 19 is still it exists, though it is inactive. So we have amended our proposal. We have done a little of a change of strategy, and what we want to propose moving forward is basically just a change of curators for Bounty 19. We are not gonna ask for a top-up for the bounty. There's no money involved. I assume that the change of curators will have to resolve into a big spending proposal because of rights, but there's no top up. We just want to propose the change of curators, open the bounty again, open the doors for applications again, keep on working, show there's demand, and if there's demand, and whenever the demand is there, maybe eventually come back and say like, hey, there are so many applications now running on English, the bounty run out of money, but that we'll cross that bridge when we arrive there. So I just wanted to communicate this very well, that we will be in the change of curators for bounty 19. The kind of like the steps will be like, first the bounty will open. Once the deposit is paid, the curators will then sign and dispatch a transaction from their multisig, basically unassigning themselves as a curator. And eventually, if the proposal is resolved, the position of curators will be accepted, and well, the curator will be like back at work and open for applications. I guess that in the case, what happens, right? Like if the curators like unassign themselves and then the proposal fails, well, the seat will be open for anybody else to take. So that's the plan. That's kind of where we are heading towards. And that's basically everything that I wanted to say today.
Okay.
Thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity, and I'm happy to ask as many questions as needed.
So just to be clear, a proposal to close this bounty passed but failed to execute, so the bounty's still up. How much is left in the bounty, or there's nothing?
No, yeah, there's quite some funds. I
It's
believe
like 600.
it's around like $100K, something like
Wow,
that.
yeah. That's amazing. Okay, and this is just to change the curator side and get the bounty on the right track.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have kind of like gone through the motivation to close the bounty a couple of times.
Okay.
Since that everything was like inactivity.
Yep.
There's nothing going on here, so why not like resurrecting it, bringing that back, and
got it.
Well,
Let's get a question from Andrea.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I just wanted you to. Can you tell us what kind of companies this bounty could help incubate? Like, what kind of company would you like? Sorry, would you like to see applying to that? And like ideally for you, what it should bring to the ecosystem? What would be the added value in the end?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a step back. I believe like the way Bounty 19 worked before, they had like different tracks where they founded like different kind of like specific type of projects. The way that we will work forward is like, okay, we will focus on funding applications that are built using ink, not tooling. There's enough tooling around ink. It works well. It's solid. That's good enough. We want to build and fund projects that are building applications that can like have, some longer life within the ecosystem, right? We want to see that there's something coming through the bounty, building an application that can bring users, that can bring traction, that is usable, that can be composed with other services that exist in the ecosystem. That will be the ideal situation. So developers, big, I don't know, big organizations, small organizations, whatever, like developers that want to build with ink.
And you said there was a 100K on that bounty?
I believe the amount is 100K dot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be a big bag of incentives for ink developers that would like to create ink-based apps on Polkadot and Plata, basically.
Yeah, I think we will. There is like a ceiling of how much like each grant can be paid off.
Let's get fit in Spencer's question here.
Go for it.
Hey, first off, we were in the first incubator. Me5 was in the first incubator, so I can speak on this a little bit. Big fan of Alejandro, big fan of Sam Roberti, who originally helped us quite a bit. I'm also a big fan of Ink. We built out like a nested split contract, similar to OX splits, that was open source for the community. And it was very difficult. Ink is a very experimental language. It's like very difficult to deploy it with the right resources. So I think that for a different curator set, I think that there has to be more follow through on like the kind of like customer success or whatever you might want to call that side of things, because there were plenty of times where we put in requests and didn't get any feedback for weeks on end. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
We're at time.
Great.
Awesome. Love that.
Okay, that was pretty great. Thanks very much. Hey, I'll just say I also for Space Monkeys interviewed a couple of the founders of Rogue, and really opened my mind to what they're doing there. And when we do release that, I think people should check it out, because there is something interesting cooking with Rogue, and I guess this would ignite or add some fuel to that potential there. So Alejandro, thanks very much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. Great talk.
Okay, everybody, Gov enjoyers, we are coming to a head, as they say. Let's catch ourselves up here. We've removed all ambassadors from the old ambassador program. Now, this saga started, I think, 10 months ago or more, something like that, officially, at least in the public. And what we've done is we've managed to wind up back to where we started. And so we've cleaned the slate, and now we have Lucy has put up. No, hold on. So first, Andrea put up the Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship on the root track. This is going through right now. 75.8% in favor. Going to start confirmation in 18 days. Looking good so far. The DVs don't have votes on the root track. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
DVs are out of this one.
Yeah.
So just the people with their own bags are voting here, and so far 75%. Feeling good about this. So Lucy, you've put in a 640,000 USDT request for the initial funding, and that's where we're going to start today. Funky, we're just going to give this a little bit more time than usual, because we're setting up a collective here. Why we left it to the end of the show. Thank you very much for your service up to this point. I'll try to keep everybody reined in, but why don't we throw it to Lucy to start, and she can give us some context here. Welcome.
Actually, I will make just a small introduction, then I'll give back the floor to Lucy.
As you wish.
Yeah, he's up first. Both refs are both of us, and I've spoken a lot recently. So Don Diego is gonna take the intro bit, and then I'll start yapping.
So yeah. So we're actually quite happy and proud that we finally reached that step. Like the final events were this meetup we had during Sub-Zero to finalize the details of the medium spender, and get a last feedback from the community. It went quite well, because Gav made us the surprise to come and participated a bit in that process. So
yeah.
We're quite happy. We feel like it's not a coincidence. Like, we spent basically 2 months rebuilding something with the community, taking everyone input. We basically applied the process he applied, or the process suggested on GitHub to create a new collective. So I think that's it's a good marker, and we're happy to finally reach the point where it's not a debate and exchange and discussion, but it's something concrete. So we have the 2 ref, the 1267, to officially enact the new program, and the ref 1287, I believe, that Lucy just posted, that will enact the creation of the advisory board and the validation of the advisory board, which is quite nice, and Lucy will introduce it. And also the first payments to actually be able to deploy this funding system. Lucy, if you want to. You're muted.
Ooh. Sorry, Lucy.
Oh, that's not a sign of things to come. Yeah, so we've posted, as I say, both Don Diego and I, along with Lorena, have been leading this, and Don Diego and I have done we've done the financial bits, which we always know is more difficult than getting people on board with a vision. We have, so as Don Diego's he's already explained sort of what we're asking for and why. So the important things to do here are firstly to introduce our board, because we have 2 of them here today. We have a board of 13 people, and we have Chrissy and Soraya here today. Obviously we are very, very grateful to have them, and we haven't, we're weeks away from fully passing, and so the fact that they're giving us their time now, and I'd like to give them the floor to kind of introduce themselves a little bit and say a little bit about why they've decided to come and support us. And then to just quickly make it clear, because we have put out many, many, many pages of proposals and many, many, many hours of discussions. So that can get a bit lost in translation. We do really encourage you to read the manifesto, which is 1267, because it is a root ref. There has only been a handful of those. So it is worth the due diligence on that. In terms of the money, I want to say, because it's come up quite a lot, that the 640,000 will go to the advisory board. 9 out of 13 of the advisory board are on the multi-sig. That just needs to be signed by one more person, which is myself. Don Diego and myself are on it for administrative purposes, because another big concern has been that we are taking the time of our most valued ecosystem members for this board. So we are 2 out of 11 on a multi-sig, which we think we're diluted enough, but we have also set it up so we can be removed. But we have very much taken into consideration the time of the super important people that we've asked to be a part of this. And I'm going to hand over to Chrissy and then to Soraya to tell us why they think it's worth spending a little bit of that said precious time on this.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, Don Diego. So should I introduce myself? Do I have to introduce? Well, so
no, but maybe you can introduce your cat, because he's right in the background, and
Oh my God.
the blur is not working on it.
hang on. This is Fabio. He's a Sphinx cat. So don't compare me to Dr. Evil, please. I am not.
Gorgeous.
But yeah, he's, I think, Nick, you also called him Optimus Prime, didn't you? Thank you. Lots of names. He won't be voting on anything, but I will be. And I just think obviously wanted to support this initiative. There's been a lot of talk about it before. For 10 months, I think, Jay, you said. There's been a lot of work and thoughtfulness to get it to the point that it is at today, and to make sure that we're all supporting this in the right way. I think it's an important inflection point right now for Polkadot, also generally the industry. And I think all of us need to get out there in as many different ways as we can to get the message out. And this is an important part of a multi-pronged approach. And actually, on that note, I have to go because I am going to my daughter's school to talk about leadership and innovation to 250 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls who are interested in STEM. And I've got do you see my t-shirt? Periodic table.
Cool.
I'm going to be speaking about Polkadot there as well, because some of them have asked about being ambassadors themselves. So wish me luck, y'all. I speak, as you know, quite a bit. I have never been so nervous about something in my life, because my daughters were like, you better not embarrass us.
Take Optimus Prime with you.
We're going to kill it, Chrissy.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Great. Good luck, Chrissy.
Thanks.
What an advisory board you guys have put together here. Wow. We're showing it on the screen here. Let's just go over this real quick. So we have Christy, we also have Basti, Christoph, Felix, who we see on the show sometimes, Joe, John Linden, Kai, Mr. Cole, Otar, Rada from the Web3 Foundation, Soraya, Sean, and Rob, director at Parity Technologies. Who's that? Rob who?
Rob, just Rob.
Just Rob. Okay, just Rob.
Just Rob.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of 2 directors at Parity.
Oh, got you. What an advisory board. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Soraya, as our other advisory board member here, and who has stayed up super late with the
Hey,
rest of
Soraya.
us, would
Hey,
you
guys.
like to say a bit about yourself and why you're on the advisory board?
Sure.
Why you believe in it?
For those who don't know me, at the Web3 Foundation for 3 years, nearly. So I'm in ecosystem development. So we run the grants program, the DF program, and the operations behind the GEM program. So obviously for that reason, we have a lot of insights in different verticals, different teams, and projects that are building on Polkadot. So I thought it might be valuable to give some input from that perspective as well. And when Lucy approached me, I thought, yeah, it was an interesting opportunity to take. And also, I think the ambassador program that she's suggesting right now makes a lot of sense, and it's it's kind of a decentralized approach and more viable than the previous one. So yeah, I think a lot of progress has been done on that, although I haven't tightly followed what has been done before. I just saw like some controversy on X and stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm very happy to be part of that. Thanks.
Thank you, Soraya. You see how nervous everyone gets on here, Jay? It's terrifying.
Honestly, I try to create a safe space, but it's the timer that freaks people out.
Yeah, I think it is scary. I've got these. Thank you very much, Soraya. Yeah, so yeah, and these particularly Web3 are giving their own time to this without compensation, because the Web3 Foundation cannot, which I feel terrible about. So let's all be very, very nice to them, supportive. So yeah, Don Diego, do you want to say? I was going to say quickly just about the touch on the event again. So yeah, we did have we had made Gav aware of this because it's another fellowship that we're trying to create, and we wanted to make him aware of that, because if it's going to have any chance, obviously the community can support it, but it's good to have the fellowship that's already in existence supportive, so that we can have, you know, sit at the same table, as it were. And obviously we have quite a few members of the technical fellowship on the board as well. Yeah, Gav did come. He did, and I'll say this here because I said I would say about weighted voting. Our maths was a little squiffy.
Yeah.
So the weighted voting will be reduced, and we will not be using geometric weighting. So I think if you remember, we had, I think rank 6 got something like 267 votes. It's more like in the 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is
Let's
being
say
updated.
that now we know on which topic the first seeded ambassador will need to work on.
Yeah. So because there are 2 different types of metrics that he uses, geographical and arithmetic, and we got it the wrong way around. So, but we still managed to sell it at 267 for one. So that was a contribution. He had read it all and kind of gave us a nod of approval. So we're very pleased about that. I think it's given us the confidence that we're doing right by the community. We're also doing right by the institutions here that already exist. Yeah. Don Diego?
Yeah, and actually about that, Lucy, yeah, I have just a detail to share with the community that when we discussed the voting weight with Gavin, we kind of conclude that in the end, it didn't really matter, because like the purpose of this program is mainly to work on the social layer, and that it will be expected from highest ranked ambassadors that they will take care of the program. So if the voting weight is an issue, it is expected from them to address it. And like, obviously it was not made on purpose, but let's say that it's a really good first try, this vote weight, for them to actually train themselves to govern the collects.
Yeah, let's go to questions because we wanted to leave time for as many questions as possible. So Nick has a question.
Yeah, I think it's great that it's shaping up the way that it is, and with a great board, and obviously with Chrissy as your evil leader, we're fine. But I would really like also to see a bit more, maybe cooperation or reaching out to both on the vertical side of things, sort of gaming, DeFi, and things like that. But between, let's say, Parity Web3 Foundation and you, there's also these teams like .play, like Pokey, these BD teams set up. And I think we need to align much better, all of us together, right? So that we can drive these efforts efficiently. So it would be great that when you're ready from your side, we had some really nice sort of ideas of how we could, I think on the gaming side, provide both value to the ambassadors and sort of the other way around. Would love to see you sort of reach out, and happy to see how we can support.
Do you want to take it on, Diego, or I can?
Yeah, basically, if those people are good agents, they will be ambassadors. So if everything works as intended, like it will be organic. You will be in a position to do stuff in the ecosystem, and thanks to that, you will have a rank basically, which will make you involved in the ambassador program. So ideally, it will be organic. The dynamic that you described, it for sure, the first 4 months will be used to, bootstrap the machine and maybe show to the people how they could use the program. And I think that will be the purpose of the advisory board, to really be as creative as the token holder could be. And then we'll see what happens when it will be in the end of the first seeded ambassador.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Nick, so I don't know how much you've read, but what we have is these specialist verticals. So we're looking to seed up to 100 ambassadors, depending on how much interest we have. It was going to be 50, but we don't want to cut anybody out who's interested. So people will apply. There will be an application process coming out closer to whether we know this is going to pass or not. It's a kind of chicken egg thing. We want to be ready, but don't want to be cocky and assume it's passing and waste anyone's time. But then there's these specialist verticals. So we'll have 100 ambassadors, but not every ambassador has to be working on a specialist vertical. And Angie is actually a perfect example of what a vertical could be. So an individual or a team or a community can apply for one of these verticals, and the fund, so that sort of the sort of 10 of the slots are going to be for a vertical. So 100,000 a month for 3 months will be for these projects. And people can apply for either 10,000 or 5,000, and it's going to mimic this fragment voting system that will be being built by the fellowship. So if what Angie wanted to do as a head ambassador is not take the 10 grand for herself. She wanted to hire 10 influencers and give them $1,000 each. That is exactly what this could be for. So Angie can put in the application. We're going to do it on GitHub. That's going to open on Monday. And you just and we ask that you read the manifesto. Can you see the bit about specialist verticals? It follows the direct guidelines. That's an acronym, and it's got, resilient, etc. in it. And then we ask that it's something that is ready to go in January. It's something that addresses a need that Polkadot has right now. And it will be able to flourish in what will be a startup environment for those first 3 months, a sort of incubation period. And we will collect those applications from beginning of Monday for 2 weeks, by which point the referendum will be we'll either know if it's passing or not, and in which time we can kickstart the advisory board, and they will review all of those and then decide where the money goes. And so another one of those, to link it back, would be potentially like a BD desk, because I think the ambassador program should be a focal point and outsiders where they need to get to. So some a help desk that sends people to where you can get funding, for example, where all the bounties are, and help them being used more effectively. BD is super important, and all of the different elements, like you say. And when it comes to BD, we would like to sit down with all of the teams and kind of discuss what is best, because they're there might be a BD bounty, etc. But the great thing about the program is it's completely flexible. So if we need to be spending 30K a month on BD the end of next year because there's already all these projects, then people can apply for the funding and do it that way to take the stress off OpenGov. John Diego, I hope that was helpful.
Like, people need to understand that actually both referendum are bringing two different tools to Polkadot. The first one is actually an on-chain reputation system, and the other one is a monthly salary funding system. So both make sense to be used together, but the funding system, I believe it could be used to do everything that's monthly based on Polkadot, every kind of salaries, you know? So I hope it will also be a great addition to OpenGov and another tool to the token holders to assess expenses, budget, planification, and stuff like that. Because, like, for example, maybe I'm going too far, but Bounty members could be paid through this system and avoid paying each other inside the Bounty, for example, you know? So I'm going super hard at there, but this new funding system has a lot of potential.
Cool.
Yes, yeah. So obviously what Don Diego is saying is it's not just for the ambassador program. Yeah, it could be, it should be built anyway, and it probably will be built anyway, but it's a fantastic way to manage this decoupling of rank and salary. Are there any other questions? So are there any other questions? If not, I'll kind of talk about the amount, because obviously that's sort of always flagged. So to make it clear that the 40,000 is what we are estimating the ongoing cost of the ambassador program may be. I think it's like 10,000 a month, basically. So we've asked for 40K over the 4 months. That will, once the pallet is built, sit inside the ambassador treasury. The pallet comes with the treasury. And so that small amount, that 10,000 a month, will be in the future managed by the ambassadors. So they will vote on it, but it will be small spends. So tooling, for example. Discord, all that sort of stuff, and then possibly swag and sort of petty cash stuff, but it will be small. And we've asked for 10K a month for 4 months to test that out. But yeah, that will be a small amount. And then we've asked for 5,000 for 5,000 a month. Sorry, 50,000 a month for the operating committee and the advisory board, and that is purely because setting up a project of this scope and effectively costs money. That's over 4 months. In that time, and you can look at the KPIs, and the KPI sheet is open, and please add your comments in there. We've kept it as flexible as possible. We plan to build an education platform during that time, and Rada has very kindly offered to help with that. He's just finished doing the PBA online course, and he's also writing something for educational fellowship. So that's going to be great. We're going to have a full onboarding process so that we're ready to open the floodgates by the end of the quarter. We've gone back from opening it on January because we've been warned by multiple members of the board that we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and it's better to be set up, have the community agree that this works, rather than onboard a whole load of people who don't know us and risk looking silly. We will also be doing a sort of rewards and retention program, because we really want to focus on retaining ambassadors, retaining active ambassadors, and monitoring who's actually climbing up that level. It's great having lots of people who've opened wallets with one dot, but how many of those wallets are active? How many people are buying dot? How many people are trying to be promoted up the ranks? So we'll be putting all of that into place. We also have an idea for a flagship Polkadot event in South by Southwest. Again, very fledgling idea, but something that Distractive would work with us on, an immersive sort of 2-day event. So that's something that we would hope to do. Setting up our monthly AAG style calls with Jay. So lots and lots of things that we would be doing, along obviously with the advisory board. And then the rest of the money, the main chunk of it, goes to the specialist verticals.
All right, Richard.
I don't know if I've missed it. Apologies, I've just joined. But something that we're working on within the BD group, especially the university outreach, is the idea that we can have ambassadors that liaise with the universities, create these events, and then continue to have these events on a regular basis, and then sort of encourage to have people within the universities that are advocates or ambassadors. So it's sort of a network of networks, if you like. So has that been covered as part of this ambassador program? Have I missed something there?
No, and that's something that you could either do as just an ambassador with the time, but if you need it,
Lucy, we're losing you on the connection here.
Yeah, maybe I can take the relay.
And you want a specialist.
Oh.
No.
Okay. So
We're losing you there.
actually, nothing is planned, and that's the whole idea, Richard. The idea that we're just providing a tool that would create the substrate that would allow initiative like that to emerge. So you can just apply for that, for example. Like that would be ideal. Like Lucy said, starting from Monday, we should be able to welcome application for that. So that's the whole purpose. It's to enable agents all over the world to address issues they are seeing in the Polkadot ecosystem, and to enable token holders to have a direct say on whether or not we should address it, and then provide the funding to those people. So, for example, if you're saying like we will need like 5 people in charge of managing the relationship with all the US universities or the European universities, it's exactly the kind of initiative you would use a Fragment for.
Yeah.
You may want to look at the meetups bounty, Richard, for regular funding of small meetups. Go ahead.
I understand there's things out there for events, but this is about the relationship with universities, and I think it needs to be someone focused on that. And I think the ambassador program would be quite useful if we've got people that have a good knowledge within the Polkadot ecosystem, and then they're rewarded for that relationship.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. And we do plan to work very closely with all of the bounties, obviously, particularly the meetup bounty and the events bounty. So the plan isn't to kind of take over what they're already doing well. But like you say, these kind of long-term relationships are, would sit in it. But we hope to be a bridge to help people use the bounties and things that we already have and connect them. Just on dates, because probably people are probably getting tired. So GitHub, Don Diego will be designing, it's going to be a very simple process, just like a bounty proposal for people to start putting in their specialist vertical proposals on GitHub on Monday, and that'll be for 2 weeks. In terms of seeding ambassadors, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're doing the specialist verticals because it's relatively time. There's a bit of time that goes into it from your guys' side, and there'll be a bit of a time that goes in for us getting them in front of the advisory board. So we're taking the punt, and it might be a little bit of a waste of time, but hopefully not. So that will be for 2 weeks on Monday. For the seeding, we are repurposing the Discord channel, and there's currently a Telegram group. So just get in touch if you want to be part of a group where we're just trying to gauge how many people might want to be seeded. So no one's talking about seeding, no one's being seeded, but kind of want to know whether we're looking at 20 people or 120 people so that we can plan around that and plan the advisory board's time correctly. That's it.
Okay, great. Covered a lot there. That's nice. But there's a lot to talk about, and I'm happy for you guys. I'm excited to.
Yeah, but hopefully it's one of the last time we're talking about that on AAG.
That's fine. It's fine. This is what we're here for. There's no problem. But we're at the point where we just actually have to try it and see what works, right? See how it works. So good. Congratulations to you guys for getting it this far.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what a group of people you've assembled. Okay, I mean, we have high hopes, so let's see what happens.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Okay, now
Past 3 minutes.
before we take a little trip through Referenda on the go, I just wanted to open it up to the panel here. If anybody has something they wanted to talk about or discuss or announce or anything like that, panel's open. Funkatron?
Just because I do have to get going, I just want to say the following to my fellow Chaos DAO members.
Oh.
Using the Bernie Sanders meme. I am asking you once again to consider voting aye for Peenan's publish ref. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. We're at abstain in Chaos DAO. I already ranted about we should not be shutting down great ecosystem agents who have been around for years with very modest asks that actually had, this was a huge opportunity cost. He did this work out of pocket and is only asking to be reimbursed. Right? Angie's here, Nick's here, lots happening with .play. This is an important documentary to get out there to show all that's happening about gaming in the Polkadot ecosystem. So I'm asking once again, for those of you who have voted nay, specifically in Chaos DAO, please consider voting aye. Thanks so much.
All right, and we're looking at that ref right now. So 46.1%, a little over a week remaining. We have Coos DAO and Lucky Friday on the aye side, Saxonburg and Nexus on the nay side, and then Chaos DAO is abstain. We're missing, I guess, Hungry DAO there.
Then I'm also asking the nay voters, including you, Don Diego, you're in the Nexus, to reconsider your vote. Thank you so much.
All right, all right. So real split decision there. Okay, thank you very much, Ryan. Tom, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just a very short call for inputs. We are gonna have on Tuesday the open dev call, and I'm always looking for what is relevant for the community to ask the core developers of Polkadot. So if you have any questions that you would like us to ask, then open to any inputs, rather either here or via DMs.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, that's going to be a great show. This is going to be our first show after we've really established this hub and cloud narrative, and we'll see what we can do about that. Thank you, Tommy. Anybody else want to say something before we go? Or before we carry on? Richard?
Sorry, can I have a shameless shill? I've just put out a Polkadot forum post for something called AssetDidCom. And I don't want to go into the technical details, but it's 10811 is the forum post. Basically, as a high-level overview, we're working with the Kilt protocol. So obviously, the Excavate project is about trustless tokenization of real estate. In the real estate industry, when you've got an asset like real estate, you've got lots of different actors in relation to the life cycle. But what's a big problem is the ability to communicate with multiple parties throughout the life cycle of that asset in a secure, decentralized way, and also store, time-sensitive documents and things like that. So we've created this AssetDidCom where any digital asset has an asset DID, and then you can have a shared credential that allows you to encrypt and decrypt documents and messages relating to that specific asset. I just wanted to sort of, flag it out there. If you don't mind, sort of look at the forum post, give us some feedback, and then we're going to go for a medium spend treasury proposal in about 10 days' time.
Oh, this is a discussion post for a spend. How much are you going to spend?
150.
150,000.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thanks. What's that?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I did link it in the chat there on the live show, so people can hopefully get into it there.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that.
Yes, Mr. Andrea.
Actually, if people are making announcements, I have one to make on behalf of the Nexus.
Yes.
We will post a proposal this week about the creation of a permanent hackerspace for Polkadot in Paris. So, therefore, this one.
Now, is Nexus going to vote on it themselves, or are you guys going to abstain?
No, obviously we will abstain because there is a huge conflict of interest on this one. But we hope that the community will just find it super cool. That's basically the price of a small Polkadot event that will enable a permanent place that could last for years, and that could become both a community headquarters, but also a BD desk, and basically a lieu de vie around Polkadot. There is like a public coffee for digital nomads there, where you can pay in dots to stay and stuff like that. So
cool.
We really worked a lot on it, like way before creating the Nexus. So it's kind of our main initiative, and we hope that you will like.
Nice.
All the token holders will like it.
You should name it Transistor 2.0, you know, French version.
Of course, we will be compared to that, but
For the memes,
we think
do
we
it for
have
the
a
culture.
way different. It is Transistor 2.0, like it's clearly the Transistor proposal that inspired us a bit, but and we actually did a lot of work to reduce the cost of the proposal. Like the first one we did was for about 1 million, and we have now managed to reduce that to 400K. So and part of it will be reimbursed to the treasury, and it's for like a 400 square meter space in Paris, maybe with a really big hardware wallet provider. We'll see.
You know what?
Make it fun, add croissant.
You know what may be helpful for a proposal like this, because you're going to have recurring monthly costs, is it might be good to make a proposal where it's like monthly payouts in stable coins. That might be more palatable than a big chunk up front.
Yeah, we will do that, and we're actually thinking about splitting the proposal between DOT and USDC, because we will need money shortly, and we will need some money for later. So we're thinking about how we're designing the proposal. Oh, you don't like that, Jay? Okay. Then we will ask for USDC.
Wait, it's not up to me. I just like DOT in the treasury. We're selling it for stables for a reason, you know? If you want DOT, just buy it. That's what I say to everybody.
That's what we will end up doing. But anyway, let's wait for the real ref to be posted, and we'll talk about that next week, I guess. I hope.
I like physical spaces. I hope it goes well. Richard, what do you think?
Just 1 point. We're talking about doing something similar in London, so I'd love to catch up with you. And we're talking about tokenization of the space, so it would take the pressure off the treasury. So maybe Don Diego, let's have a chat and then see if we can do something together.
My pleasure. Whenever you want.
Cool.
I talked with everyone that was doing physical stuff on Polkadot for the next 8 months, and you're the last apparently. So let's do that.
It's cool. I hope some model is found for physical spaces. I think Polkadot going out into the real world is actually like a movement that's going to be coming up soon. We have a few initiatives. We have Gavin's proof of uniqueness program, which we haven't heard about in a few months, but I think things are still happening there. We have this ref that I wanted to point out today. I just brought it up actually. This is a top up and changes to the meetups bounty. So the meetups bounty, it started with like a bunch of people. About 5 of them ended up being productive, and those 5, or I think it's about 5, they're asking for a top up and also a kind of rejigging the whole program. So this is really cool. We worked with them in Toronto, and it was super slick, super low friction funding for events. This is great. And then I'm also hearing rumbles about something called Roots program or something like that. I haven't got a handle. I haven't spoken to anybody specifically, but these are like regional programs that are going to like basically, establishing roots in different places around the world. Maybe those will turn into physical spaces, but I think it's about recurring events. So this is all very exciting stuff, and putting Polkadot into the real world is great. Okay, anybody else want to say something before we just wrapped up the show with some refs on the go? We good? Okay, want to look at a few things. Ross's staking dashboard. Boy, oh boy, this has been hot. 52,000 dot, and almost halfway through the decision period, 35.5% in favor. And it looks like the split is, the DVs are split on this. So Sachs and Lucky Friday on the I side, Chaos DAO, Koos DAO, Lenexus on the nay side there. We'll have to see where Hungary comes in here, but that's going to be a tough one. That's been quite a battle, and yeah, I hope some sort of resolution comes out of here. Apollon, this is another interesting one. 109.6 thousand USDT. This is a big one, and this is 34% in favor halfway through the decision period. Now I wanted to point this out because interesting thing happened in Kustau. So Kustau was abstain in our first vote. We've now flipped to I, and looks like it will come up as I. But there was some gossip and rumbles. People were saying that people were being lobbied hard in DMs, and then we had a bunch of I's come out in Kustau. Now I think that lobbying is like fair play. Like this is part of politics. Like what's the big problem? But I did want to make it known that or actually I wasn't making it known, but see if the members of Kustau are voting, because they have genuine belief in the merit of the proposal, or they were pressured to. So I tagged a bunch of the recent I voters, and we made a rule in Chaos DAO that, if you get asked why you voted a certain way, you have to answer. Otherwise, your voting privileges are going to be revoked. So a couple people have responded with their own thoughts about why they voted aye, and I think it's great, and it just shows off why they believe in the proposal. But we are still waiting to hear from a few more people, including you, Lucy, if you can go in there and give your reasons for voting aye on this one. Because I just want to put those, people who are putting the Kustau integrity under fire. I just want to put them to rest and prove that, this transparency model is really going to work. And so if anybody voted aye, but maybe they feel they shouldn't have, you still have time to change your vote. But please do go into Kustau and let us know why you're voting aye, because that helps everybody go. But lots of interesting discussion on Kustau in this one. And yeah, thanks for the pressure, because that just makes everything better. Airlift, 120,000 USDT, not really getting the support it needs. Almost halfway through the decision period now, 17% in favor. Maybe we'll see those folks come back through the marketing bounty, because I really do believe in that project. Artemis Analytics, 200,000 USDC. This one's enjoying a lot of support, almost 80% in favor. Entering confirmation in 1 day, 5 hours. That's pretty exciting. I know they're already getting started on that one. And Coda Dot, they just had a ref gone by, I believe, Limo, but they also have 180,000 USDT proposal for infrastructure, NFT infrastructure building on Asset Hub. Got to say, the Coda Dot product has made some rapid improvements recently. It was kind of falling apart there for a second, or there's some key features missing, but they've come back in a big way, and I've been enjoying using them. So that's good there. Entering confirmation right now, Talisman, 99.6% in favor for 690.6 thousand USDT. Good for them. The Florida Blockchain Business Association, this is 61.8% in favor and almost done its 4-day confirmation period for 50,000 USDT. I think this one was a really great one as well. And finally, OTAR's Open Source Developer Grants Bounty Curator candidacy. This one is flying through with about a day left, 19 hours left of the confirmation period for that one. So those are the ones that are confirming right now. I think that was a show. How's everybody feeling? Okay? Good attempts, everybody.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show, indeed.
Yeah.
Spencer, what did you think? Or were you going to give a thumbs up?
I thought it was great. No. Next week I don't think we have time for it now, but next week I'd love to present some stuff about what we did this year with Bash year in review.
Cool.
I know a lot of people are talking about events, and we had a lot of learnings and we did a lot of really cool things. So I'd love a chance to do that and present the deck.
Cool. Send me a message. I'll put you at the top for next week. How's that?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks.
Nick?
I think we'll jump in next week from Helsinki to give you sort of a flair of how it is there at Slush. Hopefully we can do some a good job for Polkadot. And also maybe 2 weeks from now, we're going to do our little segment of attempts at gaming, where we will present sort of Bounty 1 and talk a bit further about the refill. So,
yeah, nice surprise that that you guys are going for a refill already, and looking forward to seeing what you've done. Oh, by the way, John Linden, I filmed a Space Monkeys with him, and it's top secret information contained in that interview, and we're not telling anybody about it, not sharing it with the editor or anybody until it's time to release. I guess something big is coming up. He told me all about it. Then he just like he flashed me with his bright light. I can't remember it now, but it's gonna be awesome, and we have an interview ready to go as soon as that announcement is made. It seems big. Let me tell you, it's super big. Everybody's gonna love it. But yeah, just one of the many awesome Space Monkeys that we got at that great event. Okay, so we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming on the show. It's always a productive time. We always get a lot of great work done, and we'll keep it going. What's happening this week? Mr. Allison Bob on Behind the Code Web3 Thinkers. That's going to be fantastic. And then on Space Monkeys, we have Irvin, who's part of the, well, he's like a blockchain OG. He's got his fingers in a whole bunch of different ecosystems, but he's also on the editorial board for the main Polkadot account now. We've been trying to get him on the show for years, actually, and we finally pinned him down. So he'll be on Space Monkeys on Sunday. Anyway, hope you all enjoy yourselves this weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. See you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.